Okay, today we're going to be taking apart, I'll do a quick take apart video of the Samsung Note 2. Very simple phone to take apart. We're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, a couple opening tools. I have some plastic ones here. You could use metal ones, but you might scratch the bezel or something. It's very plastic. It's all made of plastic, so you don't want to scratch it. And a magnetic mat for the screws, or you can just use a egg carton or whatever it is just to put the screws in order. So we're gonna first start by removing the battery door. Put it aside. Okay, remove the battery. Remove a SIM card, memory card, whatever's in there. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 screws on the outside that you gotta remove first of all. So start with, you know, whichever one. Just take them all off. Put them on the mat. They're all the same size as far as I know on all this, on all the outside here. Okay, I don't know if I'm getting in the way, but you all know how to take screws out. So, you know, just unscrew it. Now, taking it apart for no reason whatsoever, I don't recommend, but obviously you break your screen or whatever and you want to save some money on the labor and do it yourself, then that, you know, that's perfectly good idea. Oops. Also, you know, it's good for you to know what's inside your phone and what's replaceable and what isn't, or what, you know, you break your charger port, you want to know if it's a flex cable charger port or if it's soldered to the motherboard. Personally, I love it when it's not soldered to the motherboard, although I can solder, but you know, get all those screws out. Sometimes these Samsung phones, the screws don't come right out, or the magnet in my screwdriver isn't strong enough. Okay, you can remove the pen now too if you want, but you don't have to. Okay, now to take the back off from the screen, to separate them, usually in a lot of Samsungs this back plate comes off, but in this one you got to run the opening tool along the side here. There's a bunch of clips. You hear them pop. Just run the tool along the side until you come out as much as you can. There we go. You might have to push a little hard, but not too hard. Don't you know, don't damage it. Okay, along the top. A couple more. See, they're coming loose. Okay, so now along the bottom here, sides, the bottom. Wiggle it a little bit. See? And it should just come off now, unless you're missing a screw, which I'm not. But oh yeah, there's a clip underneath here that's holding on the plastic. It's holding on to the frame, so you might need a smaller pry tool or a flathead screwdriver. See? And the rest should pop right off. There we go. So now you got the back half here. And you know, here you have the antenna connectors and whatnot. Put that aside. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 connectors in total. You don't have to remove them all, but you have to remove most of them. Okay, so the connectors always remove with a plastic opening tool. Just never ever ever use a metal tool inside the motherboard. Okay. Pop them out like that. One by one. You can pop the antenna out too, right here. It's an antenna wire. Be careful that you pop it out and don't actually rip the connector off. I've had some problems with Samsungs where that connector right on the board comes off because they're very weak. So get all the connectors off. You don't need to remove the SIM card connector. Now if you want to replace the SIM card tray, these are perfect. Most Samsungs nowadays, it's a SIM card and memory card tray. They come on this flex cable here, it connects right here. So you can replace the whole thing. You can buy these on eBay for like between 12 and 20 bucks. It's a very quick job to replace. Just make sure you get the proper model number. See, the model here is 1317M. But there's like 4 different model numbers for the Note 2, and some of them are a little different, so just always be sure of that. So continue with the connectors here. One more up here. Okay, now there's a couple screws on the motherboard itself. There's a black one here, and there's that one there, but that's for the headphone jack. That doesn't really need to come off yet. So take off the black screw. Now remember where it goes to. Down here, take off this screw here. This is for the loudspeaker, and it's also some sort of antenna. Okay, there's a loudspeaker. The microphone cover. The microphone's actually right here on this board here, which I love Samsungs because of their it's, you know, to replace the charger port on this phone, you really just have to replace this whole piece. It's not a soldering job. You could get just the port, but you know, for 30 bucks or whatever, you can get this whole piece if your port's broken. So yeah, that's the bottom piece microphone, the charger port. Same with microphone issue. Okay, now there shouldn't be any more screws left on the motherboard, but always double check. Gently lift the board up. I start with this corner and slide it out. The camera has to come out as well. There you go. There's the motherboard. There's the front assembly. Now we already went through the SIM card stuff. Okay, so now here, to remove this, it's pretty much just glued to the board. So unplug this other antenna here. Okay, get your opening tool. I start from underneath the charging port, not in the charging port. Start prying gently. Okay, don't break it. If this is not broken, then don't even bother taking it off. There it is. So that part there is to change the charger port or the microphone. Now the headphone jack is beautifully separated here. You broke your headphones in your headphone jack, or you did something crazy like that. This is a nice phone to be able to replace that. Obviously, it comes with the earpiece. So if you broke your earpiece or the headphone jack, they all come together. You can probably get the parts on eBay. Soon, my supplier listed below in the description is going to have all these small parts. Right now, they're not there yet, but soon he will, and they're going to be very reliable parts. Make sure you do not rip this connector. Okay, so there it is. That's the earpiece and the headset. Now here, we got the front camera right here. One screw there, you take that out. And again, I apologize for not making any videos in the last 6 months pretty much. I've been really busy, but I'm going to start making more. So anyways, this is the front camera and the proximity sensor. Okay, that's if you have a proximity sensor issue, front camera issue, then you know you can replace that little part. And this is the vibrator motor. You don't even have to take that off for any reason unless you're replacing it. Of course, the LCD connector is right there. This is here's for the pen, the stylus, and this is for the digitizer. No, not the digitizer. The what's it called? The capacitive buttons on the front and the home button. That's what this is, and it just comes loose. It's double taped, and then it comes out. You have to slide it underneath. I'm not going to actually remove the screen on this one. Although the only next step to do to remove the screen is you get a heat gun or a hair dryer and apply a lot of heat along the edges. Okay, and then with an opener tool, plastic or metal, you pry it off along the sides and it'll come up. You just gotta be careful not to rip the capacitor button cable. And then the cable here slides out, and this one here slides out, and that one slides out. And that's all you need to put a new screen on. I'm not actually gonna go ahead and do that because you know, I'm not actually replacing the screen on this phone. I just want to do a take apart. Okay, so we did a take apart. Now we're going to put it back together. So I'll start where I left off, which is the front camera. Oh, by the way, the power button. I've been waiting for a phone to do this. If you broke your power button, you can now just replace it with a simple little power button cable. That's beautiful. I love that, Samsung. Make it easy for fixing. Anyways, front camera, proximity sensor, put them in snugly like they were, and put the cover back on here, little metal plate. To hold it in place. That was clumsy of me. So it slides underneath somewhere, yeah. You put one screw in. Now be careful because some of these screws are shorter than others. The ones that come on the side on the case are the longest. Inside the actual phone, I think most of the screws are shorter. So there we go. Next we put the earpiece and headphone back in. Just pop the earpiece back into place. Pop that back into place and put the one screw that was in there back. Again, it was shorter than the outside case screws. Now remember, just one screw goes on to the left here. The other hole on the other side is for the entire case. Okay, now we put the charger port back on. Just sticks right on. And you know, we could have put the motherboard back in first. It might have been easier, but whatever. Now the motherboard, the way I put it in is I go on from the top first, because you got to make sure the connectors don't stay underneath the board. And you know, like this stubborn headphone one, just hold it back. The antenna connector here has to come around from this side. So make sure it's like that. You know, make sure everything's snug without applying any pressure, because you shouldn't have to. And then just plug in the connectors at the top. Okay. Like that. Plug in the power connector here. I love this power connector. It's the best one ever. I love that design. However, I don't know if I'm loving the way it just sits there. It's just kind of all stretched out. Whatever. Okay, so all the connectors are in. Then you get this. What I do next is I get this antenna one plugged in. So you gotta make sure it's the exact length. There we go. Okay, and lift the motherboard up a little bit and set the antenna cable on its track. There's a little track for it. And if you don't put it in there, you might have a little bit of issues later. Okay, make sure it's in its track. Then you plug it in. You should probably plug it in first and then put it in its track. Sorry, it's too early in the morning for me right now. Okay, then plug the connectors in. And don't forget the little black screw there. Where did I put it? Don't over tighten it, for sure. Just as soon as it gets snug, stop spinning. You'll crack that board in a split second. Okay. Then we got this piece. Which goes right in, supposedly. And I had that one screw in the middle. Now that screw was the same size as the case screws, I believe. Yep, I believe correctly. Okay. Now it's a matter of putting the case on. Make sure the camera's not tilted. Okay, make sure all the plastic buttons are still on the casing here. And let's pop her back on. Now make sure this antenna cable doesn't come out of the casing. If it is for some reason, then something's not right, and then that's what I'm gonna check right now. See this connector? This cable. See, good thing I messed up here. It goes along the other side of the phone. It goes along the other side of the board. So if this happens to you, which it won't now that you see me mess up, unplug those two connectors, okay, and get this cable up on the other side of the board. See, there's a little groove in the motherboard specifically for it. Before you put the screw back in, let's plug this in here. Get that little cable in its track. It's not this, usually not this hard, you know, just a little cable. Just a little friendly little guy there. That's exactly how it's supposed to go. Perfect. So never get lazy. If you see something off, don't try to just jam it in the wrong place. You know, fix it like this. It has to be proper. So now that we got the antenna connector and all the connectors in properly, put the black screw back in where it's supposed to go. And we'll pop this on. Now I think it's easier to start from the top because that little rubber for the headphone piece sometimes gets squished and comes out and it doesn't clip in properly. So I start from there, then I gently go around, give it a once over quickly, okay, then turn it around and look for all the areas where it's not in properly and just clip it all in. See? Gently, don't push too hard on the screen ever. You know, push from the back. Clips in so nice. Make sure all the buttons are functional. Yep. As in they click in, because if the case isn't in right, it won't push in. Then we put all the screws back in. This is a very easy phone to work on. I love it. This one, the Samsung Galaxy S3, the Samsung S2 LTE, very easy phones to work on. I like how Samsung has made them. Nice and easy to work on. It's you know, reminds you of Blackberries. They were always so easy to open and take apart. BlackBerry 10 I'm going to be taking apart as soon as I get my hands on one. Probably going to be in a month or so. And Nokia Lumia 920. You know, there's already plenty of videos on it, but I might take it apart myself. I mean, make a video. I've already taken one apart, but I'd like to make a video. I'm going to try to get more videos up and answer more questions. I've been off of YouTube kind of for a while. And hopefully we can get some more tech videos going and make sure all the screws are in, which they are. You're good to go. That is the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, or is it Galaxy or Samsung Note 2 take apart. My battery's dead, or I'd turn it on. Thanks for watching.